Supply chain disruptions continue. We see port closures in Asia, we have conflict in Europe, increasing weather events, ongoing labor shortages. So the risk to sales, the risk to market share and margins is real. We see a lot of the largest companies investing millions of dollars in transforming their supply chain function to address these challenges. Hello, my name's Dave Hoyt. I started my career in supply chain and soft goods retail and have continued to be part of CSCMP and before that CLM, and now I lead Daugherty's strategy and business advisory services. With me today is Daniel Myers.
It's great to be here, Dave. Well, I'm Daniel Myers. I spent 33 years working for Procter & Gamble all over the world in over 50 countries. Then went to Kraft Foods and led operations for them worldwide. And then finally we created Mondelez, which is the largest snack company in the world. And for the last 6 years or so, I led operations for them. So 3 of the Fortune 100 companies in the world I've had the opportunity to lead operations for. And have been a member of the advisory board for the University of Tennessee Supply Chain Program for over 10 years.
As we work every day with these large supply chain organizations like Anheuser-Busch, Bayer, Georgia-Pacific, Cargill, we see the day-to-day stress that those teams are facing as they're trying to optimize hundreds of decisions as they go. And based on that stress, we were really excited to be a contributor and the exclusive sponsor for this University of Tennessee GSCI research.
GSCI is the Global Supply Chain Institute at the University of Tennessee. And the University of Tennessee has one of the absolute global leading supply chain programs in the world. Actually rated number 1 in the master's program, has consistently been rated in the top 5 in the undergraduate program. So we do research, we identify the leading companies in the research area. We then interview those top companies with their senior leaders. And on the white paper, that is exactly what we did. We covered 3 regions of the world, 16 companies, and detailed interviews as we summarized the learning.
That's fantastic. And I know we've seen a pretty dramatic shift in this space. You know, from my vantage point at least, supply chain has kind of always been a function in the background, focused on intense cost optimization and kind of almost a little bit of a set it and leave it mentality, where now it's right at the forefront, having to be extremely nimble, constantly responding to changing conditions. And so I know everyone's anxious to hear a little bit about the findings. And so what are I know there's 5 mega trends that you talk a little bit about. Can you share a few of those with us?
Sure, Dave. You know, as we did the interviews in these 16 leading companies, there were 5 themes, mega trends that we called, that just came out from all of the interviews.
And so as we looked at the research, there were reapplicable leading practices that we saw. And we touched a little bit on the 4 C's and 10 transformational maxims. Could you tell us just a little bit about that?
The 4 C's were the focus on describing what are the characteristics, the core characteristics required to be successful in leadership in the future. The other was the leadership maximums. And what we mean by that, the real key attributes of capabilities that are required to be a leader of supply chains successfully in the future.
And I know one of the things we looked heavily at were the various competencies required. And in fact, one of those core competencies that we talked about was around high-speed decision-making and the use of analytics. One of the things we see is that these supply chain organizations, those professionals, are faced with hundreds of decisions every day that they need to make. And increasingly, we see companies investing in advanced analytics to help make those decisions. But that requires new competencies. It requires a different culture. It also requires with the ability to identify those highest impact business analytics that will really make a difference. So Daniel, I really appreciate the time today. I think that if you all have further questions, please reach out and connect with us. And I'm happy to be part of the research process here. It's been a lot of fun, Daniel, so thank you for joining us.
Bravo,
Thank you.
senor.
Thank you.